A little while ago, I asked you guys on my community tab to tell me things about the Skylanders series that you think are overrated or underrated. Some examples were levels of Skylanders or some other things. And today I'll be going over some of the comments that were left on that community tab and saying if I agree with you about if things in the Skylanders series are overrated, underrated, or properly rated. Let's get into it. Eric Globe says, I don't hear a lot of love for rogue challenges, and I don't get why. They're lots of fun, and the fact they reward you with permanent stat boost is something I adore. Well, here's the thing about heroic challenges, yeah, giving them stat boosts are really good and stuff like that, but to me at least, heroic challenges have always been super boring and not that fun to play through. And maybe some people disagree. I just don't think they're fun, and I think a lot of people look at heroic challenges that way. Things that you can do if you really want that stat boost, but most people will not do. Verdict, properly rated. Hypno Sniper 2003 says, I find SSA overrated, kind of basic and an easy game if I'm going to be honest. Okay, I'm just going to go with the first thing you said about, SSA being overrated. Now, the thing is about this, if you said this like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I would agree with you, but recently I've heard a lot of people, more and more people starting to say that they think SSA is overrated. And I think that the community as a whole is kind of shifting over into that same mindset of, SSA probably has aged the worst. Now, I still think some people love SSA, and I think there's still a lot of people who will say it's the best game. So for that reason, I do think as of right now, it is probably a little bit overrated. Maybe not even that far away, though. A lot of people might start ranking SSA in the bottom 3 games instead of the top 3, like most people usually did. Verdict, overrated. Hyan Shahid, sorry if I said your name wrong, says, The Lost City of Ark is so underrated. Never heard anyone talk about it, and it's easy to level up Skylanders on it too. The music is great, but not as good as Drill X. Drill X was the most fun level in all of Skylanders franchise. When it comes to levels, I don't think a lot of people actually, unless they make videos about it, specifically say whether they think a level is good or bad. There are levels that is just kind of known, like as a community as a whole, don't like these certain levels, or like these certain levels, like Drill X. Obviously, most people like Drill X. I agree. I don't think Lost City of Ark gets enough love. I think it's actually a really great level. Probably I think I did rank it in my top 30 Skylanders levels of all time during my every level ranked. That video is kind of outdated, honestly, though. But I think it's a great level. Verdict, underrated. Skyshaw2 says, the racing mode is underrated in my opinion. I've had so much fun with racing online, competing against other people for time trial records, and just giving me something to do after Superchargers and Imaginators. I know it's not for everyone, and it replaced PvP, but it's a mode that I think it's hated on a little too much, and I think it's kind of underrated. Well, I think you do agree with the statement that PvP is far and away better than racing. I don't agree though. I don't really like racing. To be fair, I don't like racing games at all, but racing after a Skylanders game just doesn't feel right to me. Like, that's the thing you do once the main game is complete, is racing. That is the post-game content. To me, that's very lackluster. Much rather have PvP or something else of the sort than racing. I would replace it in a heartbeat with PvP. And I think a lot of people think this way. I don't think a lot of people look at the racing mode in Superchargers in a really high, perspective. Verdict, properly rated. LIO8 says, Lobstar is super underrated. He's my favorite Skylander at the moment. His moveset is fun and powerful. I agree. I don't know why more people do not rank Lobstar in like the top 20 or heck even top 10 Skylanders on their list. I think he's in there. I think Lobstar is most definitely like a top 20 Skylander, or like maybe a top 30 because it's really hard to beat out a lot of the senseis. He's great. Lobstar's great. His name is a lie. He doesn't lob the stars. He throws them. Lobstar, does not get as much love as he does. He's better than Snapshot. He's the better water trap master in my opinion, and he's better than most of the trap masters in Trap Team. Verdict, underrated. Bass Smash says, Troll Home Security is an underrated level. I disagree completely. Troll Home Security is one of those levels that is not bad enough that a lot of people talk about how bad it is, but it's also not good enough to where not a lot more people don't talk about how good it is. It's in that mediocre category, and honestly, that could be probably one of the worst things for a level, is that it is so mediocre that you forget it exists. Because at least bad levels, you'll remember them for being bad. There's something to remember there. In my opinion, mediocre levels like Troll Home Security just aren't even worth a mention. I've heard people say you can I guess you can maybe level up Skylanders on level because there's a lot of enemies, but I just much rather do any other level, honestly. I don't agree. But honestly, I think a lot of people would agree with what I'm saying, in that it's not that good. So, verdict, properly rated. Itchy Wuss says, Trigger Happy is extremely overrated. Drobart literally does everything that Trigger Happy does, but better. The reason why everyone loves him is because he came in the starter pack, so they gotta place him. I think this take on paper is good, but I think a lot of the big reason why Trigger Happy is more loved than Drobot is because Drobot is boring to play as. I said it. Drobot is boring to play as because you will never use any of his other attacks, his fly attack or his gear attack. You're only ever going to use that one laser attack. That's it. You will mainly never use any other attack. And immediately, that's pretty boring. Trigger Happy, on the other hand, you use his other attacks. You use that machine gun attack. You use his main attack. You use his ability where he lobs gold. He's a fun Skylander to play as. And I think that's why a lot of people like him. Obviously, him being in the starter pack has a bit to do with it. I'm not stupid enough to think that it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I think Trigger Happy, I think people look at him as people should look at him. A good Skylander and a great starter pack Skylander. Verdict, properly rated. Burn Etaj, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, says, I think Giants is completely underrated. So many people see it as a DLC, which honestly, it feels like SSA is the DLC. Giants takes everything from SSA and improves on it. The Skylanders in SSA kind of feel lifeless with their quite changing catchphrases, especially since some of them just grunt. And Giants actually have lines that make you feel more like characters and gives you them more life. The levels in the Giants are more diverse and fun if you ask me. I agree with this take. I think the Giants basically improves in everything that SSA put on the table, but very slightly. I think the characters are better. I honestly really like the Giants as a gimmick. I think they're just fun characters. The level design is obviously way more diverse, and yeah, the characters, they feel more like characters. The story, I think, is way better than SSA. SSA barely has a story in the game. It does everything a little bit better than SSA, while still feeling though a lot like SSA. I don't think it does feel like a DLC. Honestly, I feel like it does more than what a DLC would do, because it's like its own game, I think a lot of people agree with this take though, so I'm not sure if it's underrated or overrated. So my verdict is properly rated. Elijah Payne says, I think the light and dark elements are pretty overrated. They have 5 Skylanders each over the course of 3 games, which is absurd. I just wish they did anything with them outside of Trap Team. I don't know if they're overrated because I think a lot of people look at the light and dark elements as elements that are good but don't have enough Skylanders in them to really put them up there with the other elements. Thing is though, out of those 10 Skylanders, in light and dark combined, to me at least there's only one Skylander that you could even argue is bad, and that's Aurora. I think every other Skylander in that element is good. So 9 out of 10 record is really, really good. But I think a lot of people look at it like I just said. They're good elements, but they don't have enough Skylanders in them to be considered like a top, 2 element or a top 3 element. Verdict, properly rated. Tyrantor Gaming says, Crash Bandicoot is underrated. It's the perfect moveset for Crash Bandicoot Skylander, and you do get an awesome level with it. If you've watched my every level ranked, I still agree with my statement that I don't think it's a good level. It's a fun, Crash themed level, but honestly, I just don't think it works as a Skylander level. And I think a lot of people say that Crash Skylander is good, which I got no idea why, because Crash and Cortex are the only Skylanders in Imaginators I think are truly awful, terrible, bad Skylanders. There is not a single Skylander in Imaginators besides those 2 that I think are actually extremely bad. Crash does have the ability where he comes back to life, but his health is already so low that it really doesn't matter. His moveset is a very Crash-like moveset, which I can applaud, but it just should have been more damaging, or he should have had a higher health bar. Verdict, overrated. Sky with Eyes says, the Swap Force gimmick is overrated. It's fun with the figures, but most of the time it's not very good in game. So the idea obviously of the Swap Force gimmick is it's not overrated. It's a stroke of genius, but when people say it's one of the best gimmicks out there, I really don't agree, because for the most part, I do not use the Swap Force gimmick when I'm playing Swap Force. I very rarely swap figures unless I'm trying to go into a swap gate, which once I do go into the swap gate, I usually just swap the figures back, I don't use it that much. And I don't know if that's the game's fault or if that's just me, but I just don't feel like I need to swap the Skylanders a lot, because I feel like most of the swappers in their base forms are the best you're gonna get. You're not going to get a better combination if you swap them, unless you use Night Shift's bottom, because it's kind of OP, but most of the time I'm just not going to swap them. So if that's what you're going with, I do agree. Verdict, overrated. Bion Hero, sorry if I said her name wrong, says chain reaction design is bland, uninspired, and the mess of parts. I mean, wow, I completely disagree with this take. Chain reaction design is one of the better ones up there. Might be the best. It could potentially be the best design for Skylander out there. Really nice looking gold dude with chains all over him. Funny wordplay. I like it. I love it. The beard of chains. It's super awesome looking. That's why a lot of people, when they first saw the leaked image of Chain Reaction, really wanted Chain Reaction, because they thought it looked cool, and he's even better in game. I think he's one of the best Skylanders out there. Definitely top 10 Skylander. The reason why I think he might even be underrated is because I don't think a lot of people actually have Chain Reaction, or if they do, they haven't used him as enough as they should. Verdict, underrated. Jonathan Bent says Head Rush is underrated. I think a lot of people look at Head Rush as one of the worst Skylanders that have ever been made, and I would agree. I don't think she's underrated. I think she's just simply bad. You know, her attacks are very slow, and they don't do enough damage. Really, when you attack with your head, there isn't that much you can do, and it's just not good. Verdict, properly rated. Bayo Beatty, sorry if I said your name wrong, says Jawbreaker is a little overrated. I don't think so. I think he's a top 5 tech Skylander of all time. I don't really hear a lot of people actually talk about Jawbreaker though. I mean, in lists though, he usually does rank higher, I feel like. I think he's just overall a very well-rounded Skylander. Very big, his attacks do a lot of damage, that charge up really nice, you know. So I think a lot of people look at him as one of the better trap masters, which I would agree with. Verdict, properly rated. Mr. Poyo says DK and Bowser are underrated. I really can't answer this question, you know, because, I mean, I don't have them. I don't have DK or Bowser in Superchargers. I played as them in Superchargers Racing, but you don't really get to play as them in Superchargers Racing. You just get to play with them as their vehicles, and the vehicles are good. You know, the Barrel Blasts are not as good as the Clown Cruiser, but yeah, honestly, I don't know that much, but I think they live up to what most people say. So, verdict, properly rated. Swooshido says, Swap Force is overrated. Just played the game for the first time a few weeks ago, and it's so soulless compared to SSA and Giants. The graphics looks uncomfortably plasticky, the dialogue is painfully unfunny, and the replacements for all the classic NPCs are just downgrades. For the most part, I agree. I think it is really weird what they did with the characters. They look really plasticky. I think I was one of the first people to say this. I'm not sure, but they look kind of plasticky, and they just don't look like as good as they used to. I think it's a bit much to say the dialogue's painfully unfunny. There is this one scene with Flynn that I think is like super funny before one of the levels. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of the desert levels. But I do agree that replacements for all the classic NPCs are downgrades. And, you know, Sharpen and Tessa, I don't think were there to fill in roles, so I don't really count those. But, like, Rufus, you know, the Chiefess, or the guys that upgrade you, I count, honestly. I can't be bothered to remember their names. Those are all downgrades. They're really bad, honestly. I agree. I think Swap Force is actually only the 5th best Skylanders game out of 6. There's only one game that's worse than it, in my opinion, that's Superchargers. So, yeah. Verdict, overrated. Oh, and Hex is underrated. Don't fight me on this. You know in your heart to be true, alternate playstyle doesn't equal bad gameplay. No, Hex is a bad Skylander. You know, her attacks are slow in my opinion. Well, they're not really slow, but they just don't do enough damage. I don't like her design. All of her attacks besides the first one really aren't even practical, like the ones where the bones come up or where she just casts her spells up into the air. They're not really practical, you know, and you really don't ever have a reason to use them, you know. Well, that's the video, guys, you know. Tell me if you guys think any of this stuff is overrated or underrated. And, you know, honestly, leave some comments, you know. If you think anything I didn't cover in this video is overrated, underrated, you know. Because it's always fun to talk about with people if they think something is better than what a lot of people say, or if it's worse than what a lot of people say. Anyway, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, finally. I got everyone to leave and I don't even know why. I can finally enact my evil plan.
Oh hey, Fortnite Gamer TV, what's up, dude? NFL Gamer TV, what you doing here? I know, just chilling. Wait, where is everyone? Oh well, you were gone for a couple of days, and in that time, actually, MLB Gamer TV appeared. Yeah, new one. And you know he actually had MLB tickets, you know, and he invited everyone to go to a Texas Rangers game. So they're all gone. Oh, I actually hate baseball, so I didn't go. I'd rather stay here. Okay, look. I came here to do one very specific thing, okay? And I'm going to tell you something, and you might not like it. Look, dude, all the weird stuff that's going on, okay? The reason why everyone's here, I started it, man. I placed each and every one of you here in this universe very specifically. I opened up every single portal that brought all of you here. Let me tell you why I did this. For years, I've been searching the galaxy to find a universe that has Grown Ups 3 in it. Nah. Every single universe I went to, no Grown Ups 3. There's even some universes where there was only Grown Ups 1. I know. So, I searched everywhere for years, tried to find a universe with Grown Ups 3. Never could find it. I eventually just came to the realization that Grown Ups 3 doesn't exist anywhere. So I tried to find the second best thing I could, the Grown Ups 3 script. And I find out, after years of searching, that this very universe is the one that has Grown Ups 3 in it. Not the movie, but the script. And I'm going to find that script, and you guys are going to help me I brought all of you guys here to help me find the Grown Ups 3 script.
So you're telling me the reason why I'm stuck here in this freaking universe, and the reason why I can't be home making my NFL videos like I normally do, is because you want Grown Ups 3? I'm gonna kill you. Whoa, you don't have to. You're joking, right? All of this for a Grown Ups 3 script? Dude, I can't wait to tell everyone else this. Wait, you don't gotta tell everybody else, dude. Matter of fact, give me your face mask. Wait, come on, dude.
Woo! Come on, let's go. I can do this all day. Take off the stupid glasses, dude. Fine, I'll take off the stupid glasses. Why'd you have to rip my face mask off me, dude? We all wear the face masks and we never take them off. What the heck? Fine. Stopped in the face masks. It was stupid anyway. Whatever. Let's just let bygones be bygones. Now, why don't I tell you about this Grown Ups 3 plan? Because it is awesome.